Recently, my Discord server has been debating something very important. A question was asked of what is the best dummy item that you can use in Minecraft. Now, the question got a few answers. I personally said I typically use bricks, and there were a couple people who said they tend to use echo shards. But the question got me thinking about whether or not there's actually a correct answer to this question. And that is what I'm going to be trying to find today. So before I get started, I should probably better define what I actually mean by dummy item. When you're developing a data pack, it's very common that you might want to make some sort of custom item. As you can see, this item I'm holding in my hand is obviously not from vanilla. If I mouse over it in the inventory, it'll say it's a plum. So this is a brand new item added to the game, right? Well, not quite. I currently have a resource pack on, and if I take that resource pack off, you'll see that it's just an apple. I just happen to use components to give it the custom name, plum. Data packs and resource packs can't add brand new items, but they can take an existing item and make it look like a brand new item. So often when you're developing a data pack, one of the most important questions is what is the base item that I should use for my custom item. This plum happens to be from a big group project I'm working on called Eons, and I chose its underlying item to be an apple because this was back in 1.20.4 before components, and I wanted the item to be edible. But it's very common that when you're making a new item, you want it to just be a dummy. You want it to not do anything so you can add your own logic yourself. And in that case, you don't want the item to have its own functionality. And this is kind of what that question from earlier was getting at. Is there an item that you can pick that has as little actual functionality as possible so it doesn't have any random unwanted effects when you're trying to program in your own logic? Now, the more astute among you may have already noticed that the previous two answers to this question that were given, being my answer of brick and Comic's answer of echo shard, are nowhere near perfect. Now let's say I wanted to make a custom item and I was going to have the underlying item be a brick. Bricks are used in crafting recipes. I can use them to craft bricks, the block, or a flower pot, or a decorated pot. Now the issue is that if I was going to make a custom item out of this brick, then that would not prevent it from being used in that crafting recipe. So no matter what this item looks like, or no matter what it is named, if it is a brick underneath, you can use it in those crafting recipes, which is not ideal, and that might feel a little bit weird if you're making an entirely new custom item. The same goes for echo shards. They can be used to make a recovery compass. So this got me thinking, what is the best item to use here? Obviously there are no items in Minecraft that do nothing at all, but there was a really cool recent change that kind of allows us to make items that do nothing at all. In 1.20.6, they added the item component system, and with it came the ability to actually remove certain functionality from items. So I can take off the food component of an apple, and if I give myself this apple, well, I'm right-clicking right now. This apple is no longer edible. So there we go, I've solved it, right? Well, not quite. The food component is not the apple's only functionality, and in particular, you can use it to craft a golden apple like this. So we've run into the same problem as before. So when I was thinking about this problem alongside my friends in the Discord, I had an initial idea, and this one actually comes pretty dang close to being a completely dummy item. The answer here is tools. Now, most tools are not used in other recipes. Tools would be convenient because you can remove the tool component, along with all the other components that makes a tool a tool. So is there a particular tool that you can use as a dummy item? Well, let's first eliminate all the ones that can't be used that way. First of all wooden items can be used as furnace fuel, so those are out. Iron and golden items can be smelted down into iron and gold nuggets respectively, so those are out. And diamond items can be used in smithing recipes to be upgraded to netherite, so those are automatically out as well. So we're left with only stone and netherite. So can all stone and netherite tools be used as dummy items? If I were to give myself a stone axe that is not a tool, has no durability, and also has no attribute modifiers, well, that would be a completely dummy item, right? Again, not quite. Axes can still be used to strip logs, even if you remove all of those components. This is hard-coded behavior. Similarly, shovels can be used to create paths, and hoes can be used to create farmland. So those are all ruled out, but what about swords? I'm going to give myself a stone sword, again with all of those components removed, and you'll see that if I test it out on an entity, it still performs that little sweeping attack. That is also hard-coded behavior, so if we're trying to make a dummy item, swords are no good either. Now that leaves only pickaxes, and we've narrowed it down to either stone or netherite pickaxes. These have no right-click functionality, and all of their current functionality is controlled entirely by their components. Now I should mention that these material tools are the only items with durability for which this works. All other durability items either have a right-click function like fishing rods and flint and steels and shears and brushes, or they can be equipped in an armor slot, just like an armor piece. So tools are really our only option here, and like I said, we've narrowed it down to either stone pickaxes or netherite pickaxes. But there's still one problem. Tools are enchantable. Wait, what? Yo, what? Huh. Never mind, I guess it's not a problem. I was originally going to say that removing all those components does not prevent them from being enchanted, and then show off the very creative solution that one of my Discord users came up with of removing the enchantments component. But it turns out that when you remove the max damage and damage components from this pickaxe, it's completely unenchantable. So, there we go. That's our dummy item. A stone or netherite pickaxe with all of these components removed will act as a dummy item, and you can do whatever you want with it. That's pretty cool. But there are also some simpler examples, and I'm going to show them off anyway because I want to. First off, I had the question if any food could be used as a dummy item. I went through each and every one of these, and almost every single one of them had some sort of extenuating circumstance. For example, I was really close to picking rotten flesh, but was deterred by the fact that you can feed it to dogs and it will make dogs look at you. Tropical fish was another one that I rejected because there are some villagers that accept it as a trade. And it turns out there was only one food in the entire game that I could find for which you could actually remove all of its functionality. You're never going to guess it. You're probably going to guess it. It's the poisonous potato. Now, the thing that sets the poisonous potato apart from so many other foods is that it can't be composted. The composter actually knocked out so many foods from this list, along with the ability to plant them. So carrots and potatoes were knocked out initially because you can place them on the ground as crops. If I just give myself a poisonous potato and then remove the food component, well, there we go. That's a dummy item. It can't do anything, and I can do whatever I want with it. But it turns out this actually isn't the only thing in the game. There's one more, and this last one is probably my favorite. In Minecraft 1.21, music discs were made data-driven, and part of that process was making it so that the functionality of a music disc is determined by its item components. And if it's a component, you guessed it, we can remove it. I can just literally look through, pick my favorite music disc, whichever I think is the prettiest. I'm gonna go with Far for today. And if I just give myself that music disc, and then I just remove Jukebox Playable, and then give this to myself, well, I can't put it in the jukebox, I am right-clicking right now, and music discs can't do anything else. So there we go, that's a dummy item. You'll also notice that the name was blue, so if I want to change that, I can just say rarity equals common. Again, that's something else that's controlled by a component, and you can set the rarity to whatever you like to make the name color, one of 4 colors. And one of the other amazing things about 1.20.6 is that if I want this to be stackable, I can say max stack size equals whatever I want. I can just make it 64. And there we go, I can pick up a whole stack of these. So yeah, my dudes, that was dummy items. I appreciate all of the people in my Discord server who initially posed this question to me. You guys gave me a great idea for a video. If you're watching this and you haven't joined the Discord server, you're welcome to join it to be part of more stupid conversations like this one. If you find this concept of dummy items helpful, let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you end up using it for anything. I'd love to hear about that. And thank you all so much for watching. I will see you later.